Welcome. I'd like to call to order the Monday, February 9th, 2026 meeting of the Marquette City Commission at 6 p.m. here in the Commission chambers. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Gottlieb. Commissioner Hanley.
Here.
Commissioner Larson.
Here.
Commissioner Mayer.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ottaway.
Here.
And Mayor Schlegel.
Here. All present. Thank you. We have agenda in front of us. Looking for a motion. Commissioner Hanley,
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
second. Pro Tem,
Second.
any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? No. Motion passes 7-0. I don't have any announcements personally. I can't do without commissioner comment. Anything from city manager? Okay, great. Thank you. And we'll move on to boards. And actually, are we there yet? Yes, we are. We're there. Boards and committees. We've got a couple of things to attend to this evening. We've got an appointment and looking for a motion. Mayor Davis, or excuse me, Commissioner Davis
There we
again.
go.
I did it again.
I move we appoint Martha Fitzgerald to the Marquette Housing Commission for an unexpired term ending 6/14/26 and the subsequent term ending 6/14/31.
Thank you. Is there a second, please? Commissioner Gottlieb. Second. Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm just very pleased that Martha's interested in this commission, and what I know of Martha, I'm sure she's going to do a fine job with it and appreciate her stepping forward to fill this position.
Thank you. Commissioner Hanley.
No, we're good. I love when seeing people continue to serve, and that looks like a nice long term for Martha for her to go for. So,
Yeah, if you look at it, we're moving, that second term goes into the year 31. That's, that looks really weird, but it's kind of neat. So anybody else? Okay, all in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? No. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. And we have some reappointments. How about a motion, please? Commissioner
person.
Larson? I've got my list backwards here.
I move that we reappoint Kevin Clegg to the Planning Commission for a term ending 2/15/29 and Steve Laurie to the Planning Commission for a term ending 2/15/29.
Thank you. A second. Pro Tem?
Second.
Any thoughts?
Only that, these two have certainly had some experience on the Planning Commission, and I'm certainly happy to see them stepping up to do another term.
Thank you. Pro Tem?
No.
Anybody else? Commissioner Gottlieb?
I was simply want to mention Steve Laurie and how lucky we are to have him on the planning commission given his prior role in the city. And this man's wealth of knowledge is just incredible. And this man could probably walk in and run the city today from an engineering standpoint.
Thank you. Anybody else? I got to echo of that as well. When I cut my teeth on the Planning Commission somewhere about, 15, 20 years ago, I got to spend a couple of years with Steve on that, and I couldn't get over he can tell you where everything is in the city underground and above ground. It's really remarkable. So it's great to have them both back. Thank you very much. With that, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? No. Motion passes 7-0. That brings us to our first round with public comment. Comments can not exceed more than 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and physical address when making public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Ryan Stock, pronouns he, they. I live at 1085 Woodridge Avenue. I'm an assistant professor of environmental studies and sustainability at Northern Michigan University, specializing in energy and climate. 2 weeks ago, your commission unanimously approved a resolution in support of House Bills 4007 and 4283, seeking to reclassify natural gas as a clean form of energy. So when I learned of this the morning after, I immediately used this resolution in my economic geography course that same morning as a case study of greenwashing sustainability efforts that aren't actually occurring, gaslighting the public that fossil gas is climate friendly, a policy failure that actually hinders our ability to meet actual renewable energy targets, and fossil fuel industry influence on local policy making. Students of mine were very confused when they learned of this resolution. Certainly nobody on the commission harbors anti-science ideologies that influence their decision making or have financial interests in the fossil fuel industry, right? So that same afternoon, on Tuesday, I used this resolution in my environmental justice course as a case study about how such policy failures create vulnerability and exposures to environmental hazards like air pollution and climate change that are not fair, often disproportionately impacting marginalized groups. So while your actions are an affront to scientifically informed and ethical policy making in the context of the climate crisis, you have unknowingly provided me some excellent course content to explore and critique. In September 2021, I collaborated with 4 NMU undergrads to draft the City of Marquette's Climate Action Resolution. We wrote the draft, sent it to Mayor Jenna Smith and all commissioners, some of whom are still in this role. I think Sally, Cody, and Jessica probably remember that. Your commission reviewed our draft, made some small edits, and ratified it as an official resolution in December 2021. That October, myself and faculty and dozens of students flooded this public comment period, pressuring your commission to pass such a resolution that was already in the pipeline. 5 years ago, your committee said that they would create a concrete climate action plan for the city. And one of my students just informed me that she started working on this last week. Well, better late than never, resolutions like yours last month doubled down on destructive business as usual scenario to achieve state renewable energy targets that will only impede earnest efforts to establish a climate action plan and will undermine such a plan's credibility. Thank you.
You're welcome to come back to the other for second public comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Hello. My name is Maddie Smarin. I live at 1209 Gray Street. And so I am a Marquette resident who is trying to grow food and native plants responsibly within the city where I live. And because my backyard isn't suitable for gardening, I rely on my front and side yards and on areas that are city owned, but that I'm responsible for maintaining. As a resident responsible for maintaining these areas, I would like to steward them in ways that add value to my life and support ecological health and align with my ethics for food and land care. So in practice, I've encountered some challenges around what kinds of low-impact stewardship activities are allowed in front and side areas and maintained frontages, particularly around wildlife exclusion fencing and the use of those spaces for native plant gardening and food gardening. So really, I just wanted to share with you that I'm currently working constructively with the planning staff to better understand where some existing code and policy clarifications could be made and provide more specific comment through them. And just so that the commission is aware that these questions do come up for residents and, residents like me who are trying to steward their land responsibly, and clarity and consistency in these areas could make a meaningful impact. So that's all I had.
Anyone else for public comment?
Ron Mattson, 912 Horizons Drive, and I'm just here to support the city engineers with the multi-use path grant application. It is common knowledge for most of you, but maybe not all of you, that the Wilson Street was built through a developer almost 10 years now, and it was handed over to the city. It was built with the specs of the city and handed over with the agreement, that a multi-use path would go down Wilson Street. And the city engineers, through, again, budgetary constraints and that, we've kind of kicked the can down the road, and I understand that because you have a lot to balance, and I only have a small sliver into all the things that you have to actually deal with every day. But the city engineers came up with some creative ideas and found this grant, and I fully support it. And it's not for recreation. If it was just for recreation and the budgetary, I wouldn't be here, but it is safety. The Wilson Street is not a quiet residential street. It is actually a bypass. And we have lots of residents in the Harlow Farms. We've got over 100 families. We've got Whetstone Village. We've got Grandview, which we have a connector, and they come down through there. And then there's a number of other neighborhoods around the area, and even on the east side of McClellan. But I really, really hope that you would take a close look at that. Again, it is a safety issue. The side benefit of that is that whole corridor would actually be enhanced with that pathway, because you got a new hotel down there, and you want to revitalize that area anyway. This would just be another asset there. It would connect to the Iron Ore Heritage Trail and the NTN connector. It just is added. But again, my stress here, and I'll be here every year pushing for it, because it is a safety issue. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Good evening. I'm Dick Constance. I live in Brookstone Condominium Association on 505 Brookstone Circle. I am the president of the Brookstone Condominium Association, and I'm here to speak on their behalf and the behalf of the members who are affected by the corridor that the engineers are looking to purvey a grant to for federal monies. I would like to say that the safety issue is the primary issue that is of concern here. I would like to reiterate that the Wilson Street corridor is really, as previous speakers said, a bypass. And it's not just for local traffic, it's not for residential traffic. The traffic that comes off of McClellan to take a bypass over to 41 so they can go west on 41, and just the opposite, people coming down 41 and taking that road as a bypass to go south on McClellan. And a lot of those vehicles are commercial vehicles, a lot of trucks, tractors, and it's really become an unsafe situation for the residents in the community. When the community was developed, as the previous speaker noted, the agreement was to put the multi-use pathway there, and right now people who live there, which primarily many of the people in the community are senior citizens, and there are over 200 residents on that corridor from one end to the other, providing a lot of tax money for the community. Senior citizens, of course, and everybody in the community, when walking on that roadway, are kind of in hazard. As bad as it is in the summertime, it is really bad in the wintertime, because the banks start to encroach on the roadway. So we certainly support, as a group and as the residents of the area, this foray into asking for federal monies, a grant that could start something that can be supported by the community and create safety. I appreciate your interest and your listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
I'm Ann Fisher, 618 Brookstone Court. I'm here again to support the engineer's study on this. I will add that my husband uses a motorized scooter. There are not sidewalks in the community. That means for him to get to the Iron Ore Heritage Trail, he has to travel on Wilson. I walk a dog often along Wilson. I wear a lighted vest, but it is very risky. It's an east-west street, so you get sun in your eyes both ways at times of heavy traffic. And so none of us want to run over. I don't want anyone to run over my husband. I don't want anyone to run over me, and I don't want to run over anybody else. So I'm just delighted that we've gotten to this point. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment and we'll move on to our consent agenda. Is there a motion? Commissioner Davis?
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second, please? Commissioner Gottlieb?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I just would like to, first of all, I'm very happy that we are looking at a policy on acceptance of donations, because we've been very fortunate in this community to not only get a lot of grants, because our staff is really on top of grants, but our community has been very generous with the donations, and it's time we have a policy on this. So I just would like to ask the city manager if we have a definition of a grant versus a donation.
Please.
Thank you. So it differs between a donation, which is one that is not solicited, versus a grant, which is something we have applied for or have gone into agreement for, and typically comes with city commission approval required. Whereas that donation is something that's unsolicited, really meant for something that fits into maybe one of our plans, but is not something we've had any real interaction on. It is something that we've talked about when we did develop that policy, but I'll let Suzanne maybe speak on that a little bit more clearly, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so generally speaking, when we are looking at obtaining a grant, we are completing an application. We're asking them for the money for a specific purpose. We enter into an agreement with them, which typically has conditions and terms and things we have to meet in order to be able to get that money. Generally, with a grant, we will do the work and then get reimbursed from the grant for the payments, to cover that. And with a donation, really what we're looking at is we've had some community members approach us wanting to donate money, for example, to the senior center, because they've received services and they'd like to give back, whether it's a couple $100 or $1,000, whatever. And they want it to go to the senior center, but just for operations or something like that, where they give the money up front. They can generally get a letter from us as a government, which is similar to a tax deduction type of letter. Obviously, we're not a nonprofit, but as a government, we can provide that they're giving it to us with no consideration back. And then it would, depending on what it is, and if they've specified a use for it, go into a particular fund to be used for those purposes, or into the general fund. It just depends on what it is. Part of the reason why we wanted to make sure and have a policy in place is because we don't want to accept gifts that we can't use for the purpose they're giving it to us for. So if someone is putting a use on a gift and we don't think we can use it for that, we don't want to take it and have it just sit there and never be able to use it. But also, if it's a gift that is significant enough, obviously that would come to the commission for approval. We don't want to create liabilities for the city, ongoing expenses, things like that.
Thank you. I know there are some times when perhaps maybe government agencies or maybe Michigan Municipal League has approached us, for instance, like the My Next Cities. Do you consider that, and we have not sought that grant, but is that considered a grant or is that considered a donation?
Like would typically be grants. So donations, we're talking about generally speaking, we're talking about that being from an individual person.
What about from like the Playgrounds for All or the band shell? Those are donations.
Those are donations,
Okay.
but those are donations that are made to a separate nonprofit, which then helps fund it. This would be a situation where they are actually making the donation directly to the city, but it would be similar to that type of concept, yes.
Thanks, Commissioner Davis, if I can jump in. With My Next Cities and some of the other ones like that, usually what happens is we're invited to apply.
Okay.
Saying like, we've kind of pre-selected you, we want you to be the participant, we're Marquette, we get that benefit, but we've invited you to apply, so it's not like you've already, we've inked everything, it's submit an application, and then we'll go forward with this process. It's still a granting
That's
process.
pretty much how I thought it would be. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was clear on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other comments? Okay, with that, we will go to a roll call vote. City Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a roll call for 3G, I, and J, an ordinance and 2 resolutions. Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Gottlieb,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Larson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mayer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ottaway,
Yes.
and Mayor Schlegel.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. All right, that brings us to our 2 items of new business this evening. The first one is the Ishkode Public Art Installation. City Clerk, background?
Thank you, Mayor. In 2024, Phase 1 of the Seven Grandfather Teachings Monument by artist Jason Quigno was unveiled. Phase 2 of this public art project consists of the fabrication and installation of a second sculpture titled Ishkode, an Anishinaabe Mowin word translated as fire. Ishkode will depict 3 flames representing the 3 Fires Confederacy and will be installed at the center of the Seven Grandfather Teachings Monument, completing the monument at the foot of Baraga Avenue and the walking pier. Funding for the monument is made possible through the Forecast Public Art Foundation's Midwest Memory Grant awarded to the Keweenaw Bay Indian community. KBIC has subcontracted with the City of Marquette for completion of the monument. The project design concept is recommended by the City of Marquette Public Art Commission and tribal partners. The project will be coordinated and overseen by the city's Arts and Culture Division and the Public Art Commission, with design advisement provided by a monument committee comprised of tribal representatives assembled for purposes of the grant. Fiscal effect. All improvements are funded through the Forecast Public Art Foundation Midwest Memory Grant subcontract. The total budget for this artist commission is $72,000 and is included in the approved fiscal year 2026 budget. Recommendation: approve Phase 2 of the public art project Ishkode and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the contract commissioning artist Jason Quigno to design, fabricate, and install the stone sculpture completing the Seven Grandfather Teachings Monument. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Thank you. Looking for a motion. Commissioner Larson.
I move that we approve Phase 2 of the public art project Ishkode and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the contract commissioning artist Jason Quigno to design, fabricate, and install the stone sculpture completing the Seven Grandfather Teachings Monument.
Is there a second, please? Commissioner Davis.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Discussion.
I'm glad to see this this coming through this Phase 2, and I'm glad to see that you know it's completely funded through the Forecast Public Art Foundation Midwest Memory Grant. So it's going to be a great addition to the city.
Commissioner Davis.
Not much other than I'm really excited about completing this whole part of the Seven Grandfathers teachings. I really enjoy being there and looking at them and touching them, and I just think this will add a really nice look and feel to the entire project.
Thank you. Pro Tem Ottaway.
Yeah, I think just echoing the comments from my fellow commissioners here, I think it is phenomenal to have this type of public art install in the city of Marquette. Really hits home. Looking at our commission, we have 2 Native Americans sitting right here, and just seeing that, you know, this is something that not only means something to them and their heritage, but it should mean something to all of us. We're all a part of this, and I think it's something that, you know, I take personally. I bring people here from outside the city, and there's a pride in showing them that that's what's here, and I think we should all feel that way about our community. The artist, if you don't know about him, look him up. He's phenomenal. The work that he's already accomplished is phenomenal, and we are extremely lucky to be moving forward in this phase without it costing the public anything. So it's fabulous. Thank you.
Commissioner Mayer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, you know, I'm really excited about Phase 2 finally happening. You know, Phase 1 was fantastic, and the amount of folks in the community that turned out for that unveiling, it was so amazing to see it. It honestly made me even a little emotional, which is quite an accomplishment. But you know, for this, I was the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians representative on the committee that oversaw this. And although I did not request any or receive any reimbursements, just as a precaution to ensure there's no conflict of interest, I'm going to be abstaining from this vote. But really, really glad that this is happening, and miigwech.
Anyone else? Yeah, I'm just going to echo. I just think that this is a phenomenal addition to our community and our public art features. I think Pro Tem Ottaway really nailed it with the idea of this gentleman is incredibly talented. I've seen an example of what this is going to look like, and it's just, it's really going to be a great compliment to our lakeshore, and more importantly to our history and our relationship with our founding members of the community, the Native Americans that basically throughout the Great Lakes developed everything and just have been here forever. So it's just a great compliment to that. With that being said, I will look for a vote for this, please. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes 7-0.
No?
Oh, 6-0, excuse me, with one abstention. Thank you. Next new business, MDOT Transportation Alternative Program Grant. City Clerk, background, please.
Thank you, Mayor. A plan to construct a non-motorized pathway along Wilson Street has been included in the city's community master plan and strategic plan. A similar plan for a pathway and sidewalk was also included in the original Harlow Farms development and indicated as being constructed by the city at a future date. In order to fund this project, city staff has met with the Michigan Department of Transportation and is in the process of applying for a grant that would fund up to 80% of construction costs. As part of the application, a resolution of support is required. Fiscal effect. It is expected that $117,200 of city funding will be needed at the time of construction based on the current cost estimate. This could be part of the fiscal year 2027 or later budgets. Recommendation: approve the resolution authorizing application and implementation of Michigan Transportation Alternative Grant. Alternatives as determined by the Commission.
Thank you. Motion, please. Commissioner Hanley.
I move that we approve the resolution authorizing application and implementation of the Michigan Transportation Alternative Grant.
Thank you. Second. Commissioner Gottlieb.
Second.
Is there discussion?
I have seen residents from this community come before us many, many times looking for this exact thing, always ensuring that it's at the front of our mind, even when it can't be at the front of our budget. So I love that city staff has worked to find a grant that we could possibly get to make this happen, and I hope that we receive it.
Thank you. Commissioner Gottlieb.
Given my position on the task force from past couple months, and you guys all know how I feel about biking and connectivity, I think this would be an excellent connection between the Iron Ore Heritage Trail and the bike path along McClellan. It also would tie in the NTN trails. If we can pull this together, it would be a great asset for the city.
Thank you. Anyone else? Pro Tem Ottaway.
I would ask if the city manager speak to the TAP grant a little bit, the process, as well as just what the other options may be for further grant funding if possible, if for some reason this were to not pass. Because I look at this from a matching standpoint, I have a hard time believing we're going to find a better option than this in the future. Even though this is, from a financial standpoint, maybe not at the top of our priorities, I do feel like it's certainly worth having the discussion about.
Certainly, and this grant and this program is unique in its uses, and there are very limited amount of types of grants for something of this size, because it is well over $500,000, but then also for this use, which while we hear some very important information about safety here, when you look at what it would be used for, or how, or the area, or the general numbers that would be using it, it's hard to support in other types of grants. So this is a really great opportunity, unique opportunity, and of all the projects, because you have seen in the consent agenda, there is a packet full of projects that we have. We have more asks than we have funding available. This one really was an easy one for the engineers to decide to apply for this grant funding. Just for context, back in 2025, 2026, in the capital project listing, this ranked 121 out of 125. Unfortunately, even though we understand that it is one that is very important for this area, but also can be heavily utilized, I think we will see that. So this is one that would have been hard to fund and would have been very much 121 out of 125 at some point. But because this grant is available, this is something that we can utilize and have that matching fund for. And I do believe that we do have one of our engineers here if we wanted to have more information on this TAP grant. Otherwise, it is how we described it.
Anybody else? Feeling good? Okay. My opinion on this is that I'm really excited to see that this could potentially come to fruition as far as a safety pathway for use. The density of population in that region has gotten, I think they said over 200 homes back in that neck of the woods with the Swadley development. So it's been a great addition to our community. And I drive that street every morning, and I've seen the sunlight coming in the front window, and people walking in the street, and I'm not going to tell you that I haven't had a close call, but it's always one that you really have to be careful. So I'm very excited to see that safety component be added with this project potentially. So Ms. Hilton, I've seen you walking your dog back there, and I don't want to see you or your dog or your husband get hit either. So, yeah. With that being said, we will do a roll call vote again, please. City Clerk.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Gottlieb. Yes. Commissioner Hanley.
Yes.
Commissioner Larson.
Yes.
Commissioner Mayer.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ottaway.
Yes.
And Mayor Schlegel.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Okay. That takes us to our second public comment of the night. Please remember that comments cannot exceed more than 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and address if you have not already done so.
Hello. As I said before, my name is Ryan Stock. I live at 1085 Woodridge Avenue, and I'd like to circle back to the resolution passed 2 weeks ago to reclassify natural gas as a clean form of energy. I guess, while we all should be upset about the exorbitant price tag of those Rice natural gas generators that have a lifespan of multiple decades, we should be more concerned with the intergenerational injustices of locking our city of Marquette into a climate doom loop that forecloses the future of everyone who isn't financially benefiting from methane boosterism. Fact, there is absolutely nothing clean about natural gas. And another fact, there's absolutely nothing sustainable about those Rice units. As an energy and climate scientist, I'm bewildered by your resolution. As a citizen, I'm ashamed. And as a father, I am enraged. But as an activist, I'm engaged. Along with hopefully other people in this room, we'll continue to fight for a clean environment, even if this city tries to greedily claim climate credits for dirty and destructive energy. So I kindly request that you consider doing the right thing and take back that resolution. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. That brings us to comments from the commission. I'm going to start tonight on the far end with Commissioner Mayer.
All right. So I'll just, I just want to respond to Ryan's comments here a little bit. You know, when we were first looking in Michigan at passing that legislature, there was talks at one point of having a carve out to grandfather in the UP Rice units, with language that maybe wouldn't have been as suggestive of saying it was clean energy as far as the rest of the legislation went, but that didn't end up happening. But if we want to talk about facts or reality, the facts are that most residents' utility bills will double without them. We are pretty confident that several major employers in the area will leave, some of which pay some of the best paying jobs in the area. And we frankly, I mean, we just had a pretty massive power outage problem a few weeks ago. I don't know where we're supposed to come up with the energy to replace those RICE units for the city right now. It is not feasible for us to get it anywhere else. And we frankly can't afford to replace them. On top of the fact that residents would be paying more than double for their utility rates, they would still be paying on the debt we owe on the RICE units because they were just put in 6-7 years ago. So that's just kind of the reality of this. I don't think it is something Marquette wants to do necessarily indefinitely going into the future, but we're going to be paying on these for a substantial amount of time still, and we do not have a off-ramp at this exact moment, and it's going to take time to build one. So that's just what I would like to echo back there, and I do appreciate your comments and your points, though. Thank you. I think that'll be it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis.
Commissioner Mayor, thank you very much for those comments, and I thoroughly agree with you. Ryan, I appreciate that you come here and talk to us about that, and I agree with you. And I really would like to be moving to green energy, and I don't like some of the things that are happening at our federal level. But we would not be producing our own energy. It would be a simple transfer station. And as Commissioner Mayer talked about, it'd be the cost to our residents would be astronomical. And I did not make the decision to vote yes lightly. I took into a lot of consideration, and the bottom line is I represent the citizens, and I know that you might be willing to pay that cost, but there are a lot of people in our community who are not willing to and cannot pay that cost. And so the fact that we got rid of 2 coal power plants and moved to what we did was a really good step for our community, and I would like to see that being able to play out and eventually, yes, move to totally green energy. So you might think of it as greenwashing, and I just personally don't feel that. I think it was just the right thing for our community. On another note, I'm really happy about the path on Wilson Street and crossing my fingers about that grant. I'm also one of those people that uses that road a lot. And I remember talking about it when I first ran for the commission in 2019, and at that time it was already behind what we wanted it to be. And I've watched families of bicyclers try to navigate that street with cars going around them. And so I really think that this safety-wise and the busyness that have gone on Wilson Street is really needs this path. And I'm actually hoping that we are able to widen it enough so that Ann Fisher's husband's wheelchair can move there safely, and all the bikers can move around it, and the walkers can move around it safely. So as we add these kinds of paths to our city, I'm hoping that we can keep them wider and maybe 2 paths. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Thank you. Commissioner Gottlieb?
Yeah, the risk of being repetitive, since I had prepared remarks regarding the rice burner, I'm just going to go ahead and read my prepared remarks, even though they're repetitive. After rereading the resolution passed at the last City Commission meeting supporting the continued use of rice units at the BLP and one at the mine, and hearing from concerned constituents, I think by passing the resolution 7-0, we, or at least I, may have been misunderstood. I voted yes to support the resolution in the House bills because the economic impact would be devastating to Marquette and the UP if they didn't pass. However, I want to make it clear I believe we do need to move forward now and quickly on a climate action plan with the clear goal of achieving zero carbon emission for the future of the UP and for children and for the world's sake, be it wind, solar, or nuclear. It is in our community master plan that we do so, and I agree with you, we shouldn't just make that words on paper, but make it a reality. Nonetheless, I do not regret my vote.
Thank you. Commissioner Hanley?
I will just say I echo with what the other commissioners have said about the vote that we had last week. I looked at it more as a supporting the city in economic way than I did in an environmental way. And it's terrible that we have to make that choice, but it's one of those that is put in front of us every day. I do want to shift gears a little bit and remind everyone about the sled dogs this weekend. It should be a really fun time in downtown Marquette. all the puppies running and all of the people coming to support. And don't forget to support all the local businesses you'll be standing right in front of while you're watching the dogs go down the street.
Thank you. Pro Tem Ottaway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep my comments short because usually I talk too much. And ultimately, I think everyone already responded to Mr. Stock in the way that I was going to. I made pretty clearly my feelings during our meeting when I explained why I voted in the stance that I did ultimately at that time. I certainly encourage anyone who has questions about what the commission feels from an environmental standpoint to watch our responses during that vote, because I think it tells a lot. Outside of that, I will echo Commissioner Hanley. Get ready for the sled dogs. I think we are fortunate to actually have some wonderful weather, and I'm excited to see the excitement downtown. Thank you.
Commissioner Larson.
No comment.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to the House bills, I really struggle with people that don't understand that we did a really great thing by silencing and decommissioning 2 coal plants. And we made a decision leading up to that to utilize the rice burners for their lifespan to make a better environmental impact. And I guess when you're looking at going with zero emission, when these rice burners live out their life, technology is going to be changed so much by then that maybe air and maybe maybe wind and maybe solar could be utilized in our neck of the woods up here in a manner that is going to be truly beneficial and environmentally obviously beneficial, but energy-wise, we can't harbor a lot. So I'm just wondering where we would get the power from anyway, when it's needed during certain times of the year, especially like right now. So I appreciate everything that you're bringing to the table, and I think that's the end game from all of us up here is to head the direction where you are currently, but we want to do it responsibly, and we want to do it in a way that's not going to tax our residents to the hills. That being said, sled dogs, 6:30. Looking forward to that. I want to thank Mr. Ross Anthony and all of the organizers that are putting in all of the effort to get this thing up and running this year. The trail bosses that are making sure that the trails are safe for the mushers and our canine buddies. The veterinarians that are coming in from all over to help with the major event, and the volunteers that are going to be working the crossings and everything from downtown all the way to Grand Marais and back. So what an exciting event. I get to kick it off at 6:30. So if you're down there, look for me to, I don't know what I'm going to say, but it's probably going to be something that's ridiculous. But and I also want to just shout out to the Public Works Department taking care of the snow the best that they can right now. I know that we've had a little lull in the amount of snow that we've been receiving, so it's time to cut those curbs. They're doing a bang-up job with that. I think that we're getting caught up in that respect. So thank you to the Public Works Department for working those long hours, especially at night. I think it was about 2:30 in the morning when they came by my place the other night, and it really needed it. So I know we're not done yet, but we're getting there. So hold tight. With that, Commissioner or City Manager, do you have any comments?
I do just want to reiterate that energy is a hot topic for us and has been something that I've been working very closely with from our regional economic development standpoint and from legislatively, our interests within Marquette County. So it is something that we have been talking about for many years, and obviously some of these things are not perfect. However, there are some opportunity. So I do certainly welcome a conversation with you and with your class and explaining things. Maybe there's a great pair up between that and local government classes to understand the very broad and wide ranging needs that we have in our community that we hear on a daily basis and bring forward with recommendations for policies. With that being said, also, moving on to sled dog races, that is big. We will have lots of people in town, so I'm looking forward to showing quite a few people around town and showing the best parts of Marquette here, especially in the wintertime. So hope to see all of you at those events. That's all.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 6:45.